Now, to the anxious person, 30 days will probably end up feeling like 45 days. To the avoidant person, 30 days is probably going to end up feeling like 15 days. And to the secure person, 30 days will end up feeling like 30 days. Anxious individuals have a really hard time during the no contact rule because everything from their core wound to their internal programming is telling them that they need to fix the broken relationship as soon as possible. And ignoring an ex for a month, no less, literally goes against what their brain has been hardwired to do since birth. This is why we see anxious individuals as having the hardest time during no contact. And yes, before you ask, every time you do fail a no contact rule, it loses a bit of its effectiveness. Now, why are most of our clients failing no contact at least one time? Well, because by their own admission, they are anxious individuals. And this time dilation factor doesn't just appear during the no contact rule, it appears during most of their post-breakup experiences. And it's often why they get caught up in these on-again, off-again relationships with their exes. So that's sort of the next big thing I want you to look at, which is the anxious person after a breakup is actually the most likely to get and end up in an on-again, off-again relationship. So I want to get really technical here. We've actually run 2 polls in our private Facebook support group. We have 7,000 people. Not all 7,000 people obviously responded to the poll, but we have a pretty good diverse amount of people to draw from. We asked them 2 simple questions. Number 1 is, what attachment style do you think you are? Number 2 is, what attachment style do you think your ex is? The first poll, they admitted they think that they are anxious. Now, interestingly, we find that the majority of our clients' exes tended to be avoidant. That means that the average pairing that we see in our coaching practice is anxious client, avoidant ex. Interestingly, this has a lot of relevance to the avoidant self-fulfilling cycle that I've been going on and on about for weeks. Basically, the cycle is looking at the avoidance experience in a relationship, and there's like an 8-part section to it where they want someone to start loving them. They found someone so they feel like their troubles are over. They start noticing some worrying things about that person. They use that to self-sabotage the relationship. They start thinking of leaving. They decided that they are leaving the relationship. Then they're happy that they left. Then they start feeling that they're kind of lonely. Then they start saying, why can't I ever find the right person? And ultimately leads them right back to the beginning. I want someone to love me again. Oh, I found someone, my troubles are over. So basically what ends up happening is that both the anxious and avoidant get caught up in their own self-fulfilling cycle. So we already went through the avoidant. The avoidant person, they fell in love with the idea of not having a deep commitment. So they use the anxious person's anxious tendencies as a perfect excuse for why they want to leave the relationship. So one of the interesting things we found about avoidant exes is they don't really begin to miss you until they feel like there's no chance of getting back together with you. That's when they feel safe having nostalgic principles. So what happens is they start to reminisce about past relationships during this phase. Sometimes they'll get back into a relationship as a way to relive that nostalgia. Now, the anxious person, meanwhile, they're all too happy to take the avoidant person back. But it's a self-fulfilling prophecy for them as well. They sit there and think, I need to be perfect this time. And in trying too hard to be perfect, they don't have an outlet for their anxious tendencies to come out, so they store them inside, holding them secret. But it's the volcano effect. After enough time goes by, they burst, causing the avoidant to say, see, I knew you hadn't changed. And then the whole cycle starts again and again. They're on again, they're off again, they're on again, they're off again, over and over and over. And really the goal for all attachment styles that are considered insecure, and insecure attachment styles are anxious, avoidant, and fearful. The goal for everyone is to begin working hard towards shifting their attachment towards being more secure. Now, how do you do that? Well, that's a question for another video. But all I will say is the key component for you, if you're anxious or your ex is anxious, no matter what, the end result is always the same. You need to find a way to shift your anxious tendencies to being more secure. And it's not a simple wake up the next day just choosing to do it. It's about building good habits, and it's about using other people who are secure attachments to show you the way.